Fort Brox Crypto Podcast. I'm your
Brox.
That was my co-host, Brandon Don Heath, that you just heard.
What's up, dudes?
And I am your host,
dudettes.
Neil Alonzo. And today is the best episode ever.
Pretty sure.
No. This is the best episode ever.
Okay.
Why?
Why?
Because we're talking about NFTs.
Nice fucking titties.
Jesus Christ. Well, if we have a female audience, which we do,
Oh, sorry.
they made their judgment on you, brother. But
Yeah.
at the same rate, that in itself, just saying it that way, could also be, if you just thought about women, that's not fair either.
Yeah.
Because there's men with titties.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean,
we're in the club.
we're in the club. I mean, we don't have rocks. The Rock has titties.
Yeah,
But they're pecs. I guess they call them pecs because it's more masculine.
Yeah. I call them titties. He's got a pair of NFTs.
I don't know. The child in me just giggles when you say that.
Yeah.
It does.
You haven't heard that joke? Do you like NFTs?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
I don't know.
This is why we need more women in this industry.
Absolutely.
For sure, dude.
Absolutely.
It's a sausage fest. Okay. Having said that, this delightful intro, we are talking about NFTs today. And before we dive into anything, let us give us some disclosures.
Yep.
We are not financial advisors, wealth managers, lawyers, brokers, or CPAs.
Yeah.
Nothing in this podcast should be construed as investment advice.
Yeah. And you should have gotten that by our opening.
I don't know, man. There are politicians that are in office that do way worse shit.
Yeah. Like my personal hero, the mayor of Toronto, that one guy who...
I don't get the joke.
No, he's
No.
like the Marion Barry of Toronto.
Oh, I don't know enough about
Canada.
Toronto. I've been to Toronto.
Well, he just like...
Had some really good pancakes in Toronto.
They just like found him smoking crack or meth or something. And then he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then found him again.
But was it on city time or his personal time?
I don't know.
Yeah, that should be asked. It's just rude. Otherwise, it's an invasion of privacy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I don't think they have the same privacy laws in Canada. So
I will say this, Toronto, a mutual acquaintance of ours, we were walking through this park and you saw all races, all genders, and people like throwing frisbees and playing chess, and it was just amazing. And it looked like a Norman Rockwell painting come to life.
wow.
It was amazing. I was just like, where the hell am I?
Norman Rockwell, though.
Well, yes,
I'm just
naturally. But no, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so awesome. It was such a good vibe. It blew my mind. I don't see enough of that.
Big fan of Canada,
Eh? Out in a boot. All right. So what we're going to be talking about in today's episode is some layman's stuff. And we're actually going to try to put a lot of things into layman's terms, but we're talking about what an NFT is.
Yeah.
What motivated us to talk about NFTs today, now, because it is October 28th at the time of this recording. What's the current status of NFTs?
Yeah.
Just a tiny bit of history of NFTs. We don't need to go that much into it. Some adoption of NFTs. What are some popular marketplaces for NFTs? What tech is being used to create NFTs? How do you create an NFT? Royalties in NFTs. And what is the future of NFTs? That's basically what we're talking about right now. So to dive right into it, what is an NFT?
Non-fungible token.
Yes. That tells you jack shit.
Yeah.
If you I swear, even people who are in the NFT space, they still don't know what that means.
Yeah.
They may have even made money off of selling NFTs. They don't really know what that is.
Yeah.
Non-fungible. I mean, what does that mean?
Well, it's a tokenized asset.
Okay, you're losing me already, brother.
What do you mean?
Honestly, I mean,
tokenized
I'm in this
asset.
Yeah,
Like,
tokenized asset. Just that phrase alone would turn somebody off, you ask me.
really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. So say you have a picture of something and you want to tokenize it by putting it into the blockchain, which is then making it immutable.
Okay, you see, layman's term wise, I would be turned off by those things. It already throws up red flags. Why? Because those are words we just never use until recently.
Yeah.
Tokenized, immutable, blockchain, right?
Okay.
How about this? You create a baseball card. It can never be copied.
Yeah.
And you can constantly track it anywhere.
Yeah. Well, you can right click and save it.
Well, that's something digital. I'm using something physical to describe this. But yeah, I mean, NFTs at the end of the day are just something that you create digitally that or it's a digital identifier of even a physical item that can't be copied.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's recorded to a ledger, to an accounting system known as the blockchain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or a token.
Well, the NFT itself can be a token, yes.
Yeah. But
Well, it is. It's a non-fungible token. Because if it was fungible, then so what would make it fungible? That means it can be copied, can be duplicated, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So why is everybody stuck on these things only being Bored Apes and CryptoPunks?
That I don't know.
So we can, how do we dive into this? Yeah. So let's finish talking a little bit more about what NFTs are.
Yeah. And what they aren't.
And what they aren't.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What's not an NFT?
Me.
Well, we could create a soul-bound token for you.
That's true. Yeah.
What I mean?
Yeah.
Which would be kind of a derivative of an NFT.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so like say like, yeah, that's interesting. I mean, well,
how about this?
Yeah.
What they can be. It's a little easier. Photos, videos, audio, physical items can be created as NFTs. Paperwork can be created as NFTs. Your computer can be an NFT. My sunglasses could be an NFT. We can create NFTs from them, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because what if we want to identify who owns it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you would call this an asset, and then tokenizing it would be NFTing it, right?
Could.
Because non-fungible.
Creating a non-fungible token. Like if that's your computer, right? Yeah. And you wanted to sell it, and you don't necessarily have a certificate of title for it, you can create one by creating an NFT for that computer.
Yeah.
That's your certificate of title. So when you sell that computer,
you have to sell
you provide the NFT to the person who bought it.
Yeah.
That's what I love about.
Or you don't, and then you call the cops and be like, hey, I have this NFT of my computer, and that person has it. Right?
I mean, it would be a great... So we're going to get to that. Okay. Damn it. We're going to get to that very specific example. Okay? So I'll read off a few things of what it says. The ownership of an NFT is recorded in the blockchain and can be transferred by the owner, allowing NFTs to be sold and traded. NFTs can be created by anybody and require few or no coding skills to create. Again, this is pulled from sources, and we have it in our show notes at cryptopodcast.xyz. NFTs typically contain references to digital files such as photos, videos, and audio. Because NFTs are uniquely identifiable assets, they differ from cryptocurrencies, which are fungible. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Non-fungible, more or less, means that it's unique and can't be replaced with something else. For example, a Bitcoin is fungible. Trade one for another Bitcoin, and you'll have exactly the same thing. A one-of-a-kind trading card, however, is non-fungible. If you traded it for a different card, you'd have something completely different. So there you go.
So it's fungible if you trade the same card.
If it can be duplicated.
The same card.
If it can be duplicated.
Okay.
That's what it's saying. So anyways.
Yeah.
The whole thing with this is what motivated us to talk about NFTs now. Because if you're listening to this podcast, you already have a fair bit of understanding of NFTs. And if you don't, we have links in our show notes about what NFTs are. So if you were wanting to learn what is an NFT and really dive into those weeds, you can learn it from this episode, I would think. But we're going a little past beginner to at least novice and intermediate.
Yeah.
Phase with this particular podcast episode. But what motivated us to talk about it right now? We've had guests on like Raven Dave and Andre Mirapolsky with what they were creating. We had Angie Jones. She had an awesome story. She's been doing a whole bunch of stuff. Like she dropped her Beast Mode NFTs.
Yep.
Lately, there's been a surge with NFTs because of Reddit, which is funny because the headlines for Reddit's NFT drop when it first happened was that it underperformed.
Yeah.
Now it's crushing it. But it's so funny how media does that. We were talking about it earlier. Media drops things like, oh, Bitcoin price is down, the end of the world. Later that same day, oh, Bitcoin price jumped up by 8%. Yeah. Hallelujah. I get why we report or why outlets report on the price of Bitcoin, but something that never turns off. 24/7 is on. It's not like the stock market.
Yeah.
Do they always have to report when it's up and down? Do they really not have enough stuff to write about?
No.
Oh my gosh. I swear there's plenty of stuff to write about.
Kanye's given a lot of stuff recently, so.
So I'm going to get to Kanye too here in a minute.
Okay, cool.
So Kanye is actually one of the things that would motivate me to want to talk about NFTs right now.
Yeah.
So you bring up a valid point. NFTs being perceived, really headlined by JPEGs.
Yeah.
People associate NFTs now with JPEGs. NFTs have become a verb as it relates to creating digital art.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating, in my opinion, because it's putting it in a box of that's what an NFT only can be.
Yeah.
Yes, those are NFTs, but it's not the only thing it could be. It's limiting people's understanding of what they can be. And that part is frustrating as somebody who wants to see the technology used to its full potential.
Well, and that's why we should just change the verbiage on it.
But
it doesn't have to be an NFT.
Here's the thing. Whatever you change it to, the first critical mass adoption or something that's most highly publicized of whatever you call it new is going to be labeled to that. So are you going to call a car that is an NFT, are you going to call it something else? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then once it's popularized, you're going to change the name of when you create an NFT of a house?
Yeah.
Because you don't need a title anymore of a house.
Yeah.
You can create an NFT of a house.
Yeah.
And it's better than a title. Why? Because it's not in paper.
Yeah.
And it's not in these archaic systems that have a hard time talking to one another.
Yeah.
There is no reason for title insurance now with NFTs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only thing holding us back is like the security behind those.
We get into that too.
Okay, cool.
All right. We are going to get into it. So yes, that's a damn fine point, sir.
Okay.
So royalties being issued. That's another reason what motivators want to talk about. The promise not being met yet.
Yeah.
As much as you can do with NFTs, a lot of it you're just not able to do yet.
Yeah. I mean, it's because of adoption, but
yeah. Bored Ape Yacht Club hindsights. It's interesting because they are definitely a poster child.
Yeah.
For NFTs.
Which I'm
You're what?
I'm a bigger fan of CryptoKitties, which were the first NFTs.
Okay.
But
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about Bored Ape Yacht Club a little bit. Well, they've done more.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, they've created a whole metaverse land sale with Otherside.
Oh, yeah.
CryptoKitties hasn't. It's not a competition.
Yeah. But it is.
I knew you were going to say that. Minecraft and no NFTs on that platform, which is so interesting. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah.
What?
Well, I see why they wouldn't. Because they're directly just like they're using kids. So like if you're like selling,
you mean to tell me nobody over the age of 18
plays Minecraft? They shouldn't, but what? I'm just kidding. There's a lot, but I'm saying like most of their user base is kids, right? You see that like,
predominantly.
I would says like all these parents worked hard in mines to get out of poverty to have their kids go back into mines in Minecraft.
Oh my gosh, no, I haven't seen that.
Okay, I'll have to find it.
You'll have to find that for sure.
It's hilarious though. You're like, oh, we did all this work, our forefathers but yeah. Anyway.
All right. Yeah. So those are the reasons that motivate us to talk about NFTs today.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the current status of NFTs? Well, it's pretty heavy.
Fucked.
What made you say that right off the bat?
Well, I mean, just like the price of them, although it's not as low as it could go.
Oh,
like you're seeing basically, I've seen a lot of headlines that say that OpenSea has as much traffic as it did back when it started, basically. Like nobody's buying them on OpenSea currently. And I think it's the world is falling sort of thing. And people are like, haha. I don't think it's that dire, but
I agree.
I do believe that people have real world stuff to spend their money on instead of sitting at home.
You mean like utilities?
Yeah, like gas or whatever.
Well, the interest payment on the relief fund has become due.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I get it. Okay. Regulation, man, is coming for NFTs in a way that it hasn't been before, I believe. In an article, the SEC defines a digital asset as, quote, an asset that is issued and transferred using distributed ledger or blockchain technology. So, for regulators, drawing regulations for non-fungible tokens has always been challenging. Simply ask, can the IRS track NFTs? And the answer will probably be negative. That's how it was written in this particular article by the Cointelegraph. And it's interesting because everything we talk about, especially as it relates to blockchains, like it's on the blockchain. You can find it. It's on the blockchain. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows how to search the blockchain yet. There's no Google search for the blockchain.
Yeah.
If I type in Brandon's NFT,
yeah,
I just don't find it. I mean, here's the thing. It's there to be found.
Yeah.
There,
there are block explorers. Like
yes.
Ravencoin has a block explorer, so anytime
So does
there's
Ethereum.
an asset created, you can see that asset being created in real time.
But in layman's language, it's challenging.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like
sure.
you're searching up in layman's language, it gets a hash
Yeah.
for an NFT. But the current status of it, the marketplaces are fast changing environment. Mm-hmm. I mean, OpenSea has been long-standing Ethereum. Now there's Solana as well.
Yeah.
They're going to start opening up other NFT technology. Ravencoin would be nice. Considering, in full disclosure, we are crypto miners. We use GPUs, and we do mine Ravencoin.
I'm a Ravencoin maxist.
You are definitely not a Ravencoin maximalist.
Right?
Yeah, no, you are not.
Oh.
No. You're a believer, but I wouldn't say you're a max. Okay. One of the biggest things with the current status of NFTs is Apple. Apple was imposing their cuts on apps that sell NFTs.
Yeah.
But I mean, so this is an interesting one.
Yeah.
They're imposing that. But let me ask you, do they get their 30% cut if Carvana sells a car through their app?
No.
It's an asset.
Yep.
They're selling a piece of property.
Yeah.
NFTs are property.
Yeah.
Do they get their cut?
Probably not.
When Open Door sells a home through their app, does Apple get a cut of Open Door's sell of the home?
No.
What I mean?
Yeah.
This is an interesting. So I will say, I have to say, this is in contradiction to my previous stance about Apple with their antitrust as it relates to Epic Games.
Yeah.
Epic Games would not have the same environment in the Apple ecosystem if it wasn't for Apple creating it. I've long stood on the side that Epic's argument, I could see that the antitrust laws and everything that's associated with Apple, but they created that environment. They really did. At a certain point in time, antitrust does need to be considered.
The App Store, you mean?
The App Store, yeah. And then what you can do on their devices and how they govern that and the sell of things on there. With this new foray into NFTs and the restrictions on what you can do on their devices, this is one that definitely I've always supported the fact that Apple created a world that those who participate in it make money in where nobody else had created it. Microsoft didn't create it. Google didn't create it. A lot of these companies, they had the vision and they created it and it took off.
Yeah.
The App Store is incredible.
Yeah.
They built the whole services business model around all their offerings with their hardware.
Yeah.
But I mean, one of the things I hated was the fact that they just dropped a U2 album on my phone without my consent.
Yeah.
That pissed me off. Don't get me wrong, I like you too.
Yeah.
And I like you too.
I like you also.
But I was pissed that I just show up and there's this album on my phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this recent news about what they're doing with NFTs definitely.
I mean, maybe they'll turn or maybe they'll go back on it.
I am of the hope.
Yeah.
When companies pull this shit, it's not just Apple. There's a long road of companies that pull shit.
Piece, but
and what they deserve a piece.
Yeah.
Of something.
Yeah.
But
not of the full business model.
The third, it's like it's interesting, but
so it's just like Shark Tank when it was created. The creator of Shark Tank,
that's right,
got a percentage of every deal, but then the SEC,
whether they funded it or not,
the SEC came down on them and was like, you can't do that. So I mean, it's basically the same thing. If those are assets and if they're going to be treated like assets, like a cryptocurrency, then
an NFT.
Yeah,
that's
NFT,
an asset, a property, piece of property.
It's a tokenized asset.
Yeah. That's all the wink for those who didn't see it.
Yeah, I'll put it in.
There you go.
Not the show notes, the show. Anyway.
I like that.
But do you see what I'm saying?
I do. I like that example.
So it's like, and if they're going to be a security,
so
I don't want them to be, but you can't get a piece of the action.
So Gary,
based on that,
Gary Gensler.
Oh, Genzi.
Why are you not knocking on Apple's door the way you knocked on Shark Tank's door? Because that I believe that argument has merit.
Yeah.
I believe it has a ton of merit.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Well, even your Carvana one has merit. Like, why aren't they trying to take 30% of every single business that's on there?
Yeah. Because that is property.
Yeah.
That is an asset.
Yeah.
Oh, I brought it up because Apple should not be doing this. But what they're doing, in my opinion, opens the door for a competitor to come in and do it better.
Yeah.
I think it's time that there is a competitor to Apple. Yeah. And you could argue that competitor is Microsoft.
The Google Play Store.
Or Google, for that matter. They're competitors in their own way. But they don't... So...
Well, okay. So, I mean...
Quality control... It's tough to do open source quality control.
That's
true.
Just
is.
Yeah.
Period. Again, if you think back to our recent episode about DAOs...
Well, I mean, it's just like...
It's a tough challenge, man.
Well, yeah, but it's like the market will correct itself. The market will say, like, hey, like, if they're taking 30%, then they'll just go on some other platform and buy their NFTs.
Yeah, no, it's valid.
And then OpenSea will just be like, hey, browse here, but you can't buy off our app anymore.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but let me so let me give you some more details regarding this Apple policy.
Yeah.
You cannot use NFTs to unlock features within app.
That's right. I just did hear that.
So that's the other component of it. It isn't just the sale or trade or resale within an app, right?
Yeah.
So again, if you have a Bored Ape and you want to sell it to somebody and you don't want to go through OpenSea to do it, or like the whole resale market for NFTs is wild west right now.
Yeah.
And then there's the discussion about royalties being paid and enforced. There's so many things about security, enforcement, KYC, knowing your customer, knowing your buyer, knowing your seller if you want in that way, that the rule of Apple as it relates to using NFTs to be able to see exclusive features as it relates to that NFT ownership, that is bullshit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, I figured you would agree.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see how it will unfold itself.
Yeah.
Like, what will be the mechanism that can cannibalize Apple's dominance in that market? Is it antitrust laws being people coming in and regulating in that way?
Yeah.
Giving them the forced hand. Here's the thing, though. I'm a fan of Apple. Been a fan of Apple a long time.
Yeah.
We're
both using their computers right now.
We are. We both using. I'm using their phone, but you're using Android.
Yeah.
But
Why you gotta blow up my spot like that?
It was just a point of fact. I didn't know you were taking it as a negative.
I was just kidding.
Damn, you got to work on that.
Most of the world uses
Android anyway. No, it's true. North America predominantly iOS though.
Yeah.
So having said that, I do like centralization for some things. When I want a heavy-handed curation, centralization, in my opinion, works in that way. It's not. I want a company like Apple to create a product that they have a reputation for creating. I like it. I do.
Yeah.
I want their ability to curate products to continue. But I wish there would be some leeway in some things in the way that they seem to conduct business.
Yeah.
Again, this is just one person's opinion. But as a fan of Apple and our technology being closer to us than it's ever been as humans, like, a lot of us sleep with our phones so close to us. A lot of us use our phones substantially.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things, from everything from therapists to mental health specialists to talking about our relationship with our devices, especially our phones.
Keeping in close contact with people that we love.
Yeah. So
I just went away for about a month, and
right.
if I didn't have a phone and computer,
much of what we do and navigate our lives is been enhanced by the device of a phone. It's become our personal computer as we do all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Texting with my kids, at any point, anywhere I'm at in the world. I love it. Because of this.
I mean, I was 10 hours away, and the only way I could keep in touch with my loved ones, the Arizona Cardinals, was by streaming their games.
Yeah, and you saw at least a win because there wasn't many to be had. But having said that, the phone itself has become a utility, right? Yeah. And Apple was on the forefront of making that happen.
Yep.
And I think they should make their due and proper. We live in that kind of society. You create cool shit, you sell it, make money, profit. That's my capitalism side. But in this particular case, I feel like they're biting off their nose, man.
Yeah.
It's not cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
why do you stammer? I'm curious.
Well, I mean, I figure it'll be a market correction. You know what I mean? Once people are like, hey, no, you can't do that.
What are they going to revolt to?
Well, they'll just revert back to being like, yeah, I guess if you buy NFTs, you can have features unlocked. No,
I know what Apple would do.
Yeah.
But I mean, how are we going to make sure that somebody owns an NFT and can access specific features and content as a result of owning that to using an Apple device?
Yeah.
How will they be able to access that?
Yeah, by buying an Android.
Can't do it through an app, but you can do it through Safari.
Yeah.
So it's just going to make responsive web that much more popular still.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was just saying, or you get a Pixel 7 or 6. And
it's true. Yeah, you can move on.
But, I mean, as an Apple stockholder...
Yeah, I own some Apple stock too.
I'm just like, come on, guys.
Yeah,
do better, man.
Yeah, no, okay. I agree. I agree.
And I always talk about like NFTs are just like a gateway to smart contracts.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about unlocking stuff and royalties, like those are all
we're going to get to royalties here in a minute.
Those are all smart contracts.
Yeah. Well, Ravencoin isn't.
No, it's not.
It's a tokenized asset.
Yeah.
But
I'm just saying, like,
I get where you're going with this.
Yeah.
So just to continue on our outline for the show, just a little bit of history. One of the earliest sales, I think it was the first one, Quantum.
Yeah.
It sold for $1.47 million in 2021. It was first minted in May of 2014 and is regarded by many, including the auction house, as the first ever NFT. Yes, correct. So right now,
ownership and fungibility. Interesting.
Sotheby's and artist Kevin McCoy sued over sale of early NFT. This dispute revolves around the movement of a 2014 work, Quantum, from one blockchain to another and how it affects its ownership and fungibility. So this link will also be in our show notes, but it's just interesting. Mm-hmm. The history of NFTs, it was always kicked off with a little bit of controversy or controversy.
Yeah.
And then we have links to all of this in our show notes.
You mean English?
You like that? Controversy?
Oh, you from Britain? Sorry to anybody listening over the pond.
What really dives into all things NFTs and where it currently is, or how it's perceived, is the adoption.
Yeah.
The adoption of NFTs started with creatives.
Yeah.
Creatives were people who took artwork as JPEGs and sold it as that. Yeah. And so it's become predominantly the way people view NFTs. But who else was going to take a chance on the technology of NFTs, kind of like creatives?
Yeah.
I mean, if artists are notoriously struggling for money.
Yeah.
The story of...
You're calling CryptoPunks art now?
It is a form of art.
Yeah.
It's a form of art. Yeah. Art, in my opinion, is subjective. It's all opinion-based. I don't necessarily consider art to be what other people call it. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a creative expression.
Yeah.
If my kid can draw with crayons and make billions of dollars, dope. I mean, that's awesome. Good for them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If somebody perceives that as art that's worth billions of dollars, good for them. Mm-hmm. Whatever. But that's not what I'm here to judge by any stretch of the imagination. What we're talking about is who else would have been the first to adopt NFTs? Mm-hmm. Creatives were first. They put out products that were within arm's reach to them, which is their art. Mm-hmm. And because of it, it's created this stereotype of what NFTs are. I don't like the fact that it's been pigeonholed quite the way it has. But that's the negative side, I guess you'd say, the hater part of it. Mm-hmm. The positive part of it is that because of its success financially, It's opened everybody's eyes to it.
Yeah.
If there wasn't this much financial reward in this, people wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah, for sure.
What I mean?
Yeah.
And so it was the creatives who led this charge. And you could argue that creatives lead adoption in a lot of other areas. You know what I mean? Creative people, first part of the internet. That's a big part of these things. So the adoption of NFTs, the story of it, it goes to the heart of how do you get product market fit for anything almost. Like, who's really going to want your product or your tech?
Yeah.
I just find it interesting that creatives were the first to really embrace it. And now it's defined it. And has it defined it to the point to where it can't be overcome? No, but it's created its own challenges, even in the face of its success.
Yeah.
But again, because it's made as much money as it has, I think
people are in.
Yeah, everybody's in on some level.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I almost bought one of those.
What?
Ghostbusters Afterlife Stay Puft Marshmallow dudes. Those guys are so cute.
Oh, did you?
Almost. Yeah.
Why didn't you buy one?
I don't know. It was expensive at the time.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a realistic take on it.
My buddy just sent me a couple NFTs from the GameStop wallet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is interesting.
All right.
Loop Ring, Layer 2, GameStops.
There's so many marketplaces now. So you have OpenSea. Coinbase has a marketplace. Magic Eden, Rarible.
Yeah.
Binance has a marketplace.
Yeah.
They're all popping up.
Crypto.com.
Yeah. Oh, Crypto.com.
GameStop. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, for sure.
We'll have a list of these in our show notes and everything, but just to cite the fact that there is a substantial amount of marketplaces out there.
Yeah.
And while Ethereum and Solana are the most prolific technologies that are being used, there's a lot more that are being used. You can use things like Ravencoin.
Yeah. To tokenize your assets.
Well, you can also create NFT out of it. You love saying that. You tokenize your assets.
Yeah, yeah.
So in talking through all these things, and even Aptos, which was recently launched.
Oh. What is that?
Aptos?
Yeah.
So what is Aptos? And what's funny is that this particular article on decrypt.co is calling it the Solana killer. What's funny about Solana is it's called the Ethereum killer. So everybody's just killing everybody.
All this just a bunch of mass murderers
I know,
here
right?
Trying to Jeffrey Dahmer these people.
That thing's doing so well on Netflix.
Yeah, it's so sad.
It's created by Diem developers. Founded by developers behind Meta's Diem blockchain, Aptos' use of a novel transaction ordering method has earned it huge sums from investors. You're looking at about 350 million, I think they had. Yeah, 350 million in VC funds. And they launched its mainnet this month in October. Or this last month, because this is coming out in November, this podcast episode. So yeah, Aptos is another one of the technologies that you can create NFTs with. We'll have a list of these in our show notes. We also have a link to how you create an NFT in our show notes, because there's a number of ways that you can choose to do it. There's a lot of user-friendly ways to create NFTs. It's not as daunting as one might think.
Yeah.
The thing that's more daunting now is your roadmap plan of how you're going to create value around your NFTs.
Yeah.
Some people call it utility, but if it's, let's just use something like Bored Ape as an example, now that we have the hindsight view.
Well, when we, like, I've discussed this with other people, like, how do you create NFTs? And, like, sometimes they'll go on and create an NFT and they're like, oh, it's very expensive to create an NFT. And it's like, yeah, it can be if you are the one to mint it.
Yes.
So if you don't mint it, you can create hundreds of them for basically free.
Well, because you can mint it at the time it sells too, like on OpenSea or Rarible.
Yeah, exactly.
So it can work that way. So it does make it easier. But in looking in the rearview mirror of Bored Ape Yacht Club, right? Just as one example. To create an NFT is only part of what you need to solve. What you really need to do is come up with how you're creating value. Because just having something as an NFT now sitting in a wallet, it doesn't do as much as it used to.
No.
You need to have a story.
Yeah.
I've been telling people you need to create your own lore behind your visual. If it's creative, if you're doing something like a visual design as an NFT, if that's what you're putting out in the product of the world, create some lore around it. Name it. Give it a personality. Give it a backstory. And within that backstory, the utility that people, and I say this quote unquote, becomes at the hand of the benefits that the NFT holder has.
Yeah.
And then they buy into that lore. I love the story of Snoop Dogg and his son. The Bored Ape that they bought, they've created T-shirts, gave it a name, and
used
now
it
they're
in a
creating
music video.
Yeah, they're creating its own lore behind this character that they just purchased.
Yeah.
It wasn't a part of that NFT. They've manufactured that, but that's part of their licensing rights.
Yeah.
Or their rights as the NFT holder for that particular Bored Ape.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see that because, and we'll get this to what does the future of NFTs look like?
Yeah.
But in our show notes, we have how do you create an NFT? But the biggest thing I have to say regarding creating an NFT isn't so much just creating one anymore. It's the backstory behind it. If it's going to be used in some form of digital art or any art space.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to create an NFT for your car, for your house, some of these things that we've mentioned for a specific document, or maybe it's just for a piece of memorabilia, those components are not as readily available. So physical items in the world and NFTs, connecting the two, those are not as readily available right now, but it can be done. So one of the other topics that we're talking about is royalties and NFTs. And this is a big deal, in my opinion, because if you, as an artist, and we're using art as the piece, but we'll dive into how it could work with cars or houses or anything of that nature, any asset, right?
Yeah.
If you create a piece of art, and it's just happened time over time, the art resells and it gains in value. Take Banksy, for instance. Remember that piece that he had at Sotheby's, and it went through the shredder right when it sold?
Yeah.
But then it was worth even more afterwards because they, quote, sold it as performance art?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Okay, let's get past that bullshit.
Yeah.
But as an NFT, Banksy's going to get a cut of that. He's going to get a royalty, and he should, because he's the one who created the art, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The resale of any art, the artist should get something. I'm of that opinion.
Yeah.
I'm of that belief that the artist should get something. They put it together. If they're dead, whoever there owns their estate should own that, should get that cut. Think about the ongoing asset building that you would have. Because there's what Masterworks, where you can have fractional ownership of art now. So they're doing this fractional ownership in a way that you can own, let's say, something like a Jackson Pollock, but you only own a piece of it.
Yeah.
But as it goes up in value, you participate in that value. So an NFT in this case gets to play by those same rules. So now a lot of the marketplaces are offering royalties as optional to be paid. I don't like that. As an artist, you wouldn't like that.
No.
As the end buyer, if you're buying something but not compensating the artist for that resale, it's like, that's pretty selfish.
Yeah.
In my opinion. If there's a contrasting argument to that, please share. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm wondering so like anytime that Snoop uses the likeness of his NFT, his Bored Ape, does Yuga and those people, do they get a percentage of that as a royalty for using it?
According to the license that they have with their NFTs, no.
Interesting.
No. That was the way it was sold. When they sold the Bored Ape, you can do whatever you want with that Bored Ape. You can create T-shirts of that Bored Ape. You can create an animated drawing series, whatever. That's your ape.
Okay.
You can take it for a ride because they didn't create that.
Yeah.
But that was their choice. They chose to offer up that type of license.
Yeah.
Andreessen Horowitz introduced, I should say, a Can't Be Evil NFT licensing.
Yeah.
It was, in my opinion, it's a derivative of the Creative Commons licensing.
Yeah.
And it's something that you can place within the metadata.
But what I'm getting at is when he sells that, though, then there's a royalty behind that?
That I don't know.
Okay.
So if you're saying he sold the property of that Bored Ape NFT and everything he's created around it, so that's interesting. I wonder, because let's say they're selling T-shirts or creating an animated television show, and he's making
lore from that, and that certain NFT actually has a lot more value to it
because he can create an entity out of that, and that NFT is an asset of that entity, whether it's an S corp or an LLC. So if he sells the S corp and the LLC, he's selling that whole package. But does the NFT itself get a royalty based upon the value of that NFT
to the maker, which is that?
But so it does beget the question when you're talking about this. If he has a television show, the animated series up where this particular NFT art's been used, that series is its own piece. Yes, it had character, a character, let's say, used in it.
Yeah.
But the NFT, if you buy the NFT,
yeah.
So it's interesting that way. So I would think of the NFT as almost the actor,
which is the
in
IP.
this place.
Yeah.
Or the story. You know what I mean? Because if you think about the Fast and Furious franchise, Vin Diesel, he has his piece, and if anybody was to do anything with the Fast and Furious franchise, he would still get a cut.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I love that. I love exploring that. Yeah. But the genesis of even talking about royalties and NFTs is I'm of the belief that they should be honored.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be optional.
No, for sure, no.
If the artists themselves, when they sold it originally, the first time it sells, they're the ones who choose whether or not there's royalties.
Yeah.
They're the ones making the decision. But if an NFT is created out of a car, could you create royalties on the resale value of that car?
Probably.
I mean, the option is there.
Yeah.
You would think with a house you can do that.
The royalties on the house?
Well, if an
architect?
NFT,
I guess if it was a one-of-a-kind house, but if you're saying like a track home, like, no fucking way.
Well, so the argument also can be made against the fact that the home is never really the owner's anyway, because if you don't pay property tax, we said this in another podcast, I know, but if you don't pay property tax, the IRS gets that house.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. If that home was paid free and clear, you own zero mortgage.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you own the house, but the land underneath it.
Okay. You going to move that house?
You can.
Well, actually, you're supposed to own the land too.
Yeah.
So if you have the deed to the land, but you don't pay your property taxes, you don't get to stay on your own land.
That's true. Yeah.
So in that way, lots of things to consider, right? Lots of things to consider, especially as it relates to physical items in the real world as opposed to digital items.
Yeah.
Because when you talk about it, and we can jump right into what is the future of NFTs with this one.
Yeah.
When you think about video games, I mean, this has been brought up a lot.
Well, Kings of Leon did their last record as an NFT and made $2 million. And
so you jump from video games to Kings of Leon.
Well,
okay.
I mean,
we'll go down the music path first.
It's music.
Okay, let's talk about music then.
Music's cooler than video games. So.
Damn, that's an opinion.
Yeah, I said it.
But anyways, go ahead. Kings of Leon did what?
Well, because, I mean, basically, you can't, play video games and have sex at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
There's many videos out there that would prove contrary.
Video games?
Yes.
All right.
It's all right. You don't watch Oprah enough. You can't multitask.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a one track mind. Here we go.
Very much so. I've seen the way you eat food.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, with their what was it? When you see yourself, 2 million in NFT sales, and if you bought it as an NFT, you unlocked certain things, like you were first in line to be able to buy concert tickets. It unlocks certain.
So that's the utility that they offered as a result of buying those NFTs.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart.
And I think they get royalties from when you sell that NFT as well.
As long as it can be enforced.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin Hart, for his Confessions from the Heart animated series that came out, he issued, I think it was, I forget how many NFTs. We'll have it in our show notes. But for the most part, now he has those audience members, no matter where he goes. So even if the show gets canceled, he has those audience members. Yeah. And those audience members now get to participate in all kinds of exclusive content as it relates to having those NFTs.
Yeah.
But I mean, so if we're going to talk about the future of NFTs in music, who can't, especially right now, talk about Kanye West?
Yeah. Oh, okay, Kanye.
Because why wouldn't he be able to release his own music as an NFT? Spotify's already said they're not going to pull his music off of the channel. I actually mentioned it in a previous podcast because I like this podcast and their points of view. Scott Galloway and Kara Swisher of Pivot. She even made mention of the fact that she doesn't listen to Michael Jackson's music anymore because of just the whole back story with Michael Jackson. I don't know if she listens to Kanye West, but maybe she won't listen to it anymore because she doesn't like that particular person as a result of it. But Spotify's not taking him off. Yeah. Apple's not taking him off.
Yeah.
You're still going to hear Kanye's music on there, but the labels that put him on there and have the licensing deal with them, they've cut ties with him.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. But if they cut ties with him, does that mean that his music will run out its contract with Spotify?
Ooh, I don't know.
What I mean? So there's a lot to unpack there
Yeah.
with everything, and even the people listening to him. So regardless, if you're still going to listen to Kanye West's music and he releases new content, NFTs are a vehicle on which to do so.
Yep.
In a way that he's never been done before.
Can we make an NFT out of him getting kicked out of the Skechers headquarters uninvited?
So that's interesting, right? And license that footage.
Yeah, is it?
So when you want to think about the future of NFTs, right?
Yeah.
If there was
That's a TMZ
television clip,
NFT.
so well then TMZ shot the footage, right?
Yeah.
So they could relicense that footage to be playing for the next 20 years, let's say.
Yeah.
But if they created an NFT out of that footage,
Yeah.
they could offer fractional ownership of it.
Yeah.
So let's say that clip of Kanye getting kicked out generates $200,000 in licensing every year. They could sell 50% of it for however much money they want
Yeah.
to make that one lump sum. And then now they are basically paying dividends
Yeah.
every year to the license holders or people who own a portion of that NFT.
Yeah.
I love that idea of things.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the content, but
I saw
the idea of being able to create those types of assets, because you're creating assets out of things that were assets to some people, but not available to everyone. I would love things like Michael Jordan dunking.
Yeah.
They already have some of this coming out, but out already. But
isn't that
just more of it?
Dapper Labs.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, they did the NBA Hot Shot series.
That's
where
right.
you could buy basically basketball cards.
Yeah.
But like NFT versions.
What were we gonna say?
So 60 seconds times 24 frames times 90 minutes. It's 129,600. So 129,600. So that's the average amount of frames in a movie.
Okay.
So I've seen people do it, but I don't know if I've seen them do it successfully, but sell off every frame of a movie as an NFT. So you're basically splitting ownership of a movie into 129,600 pieces.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm gonna talk to Megan. Well, we have discussed it, but as a way of fundraising for
you own a frame of the film.
Yeah,
that's
you own
dope.
One frame of that film, and then you also own like a percentage of the overall gross of the film as well, because you're an investor in the film. Unless the SEC is going to come down on you, or the CTFC, whatever, CFTC.
Mm-hmm.
If they're going to come down on you, then you just treat it as a Kickstarter sort of thing, where you can buy an NFT of this film, but it's
a reward.
It's a reward and only worth whatever you can sell it for later. Like a baseball card.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I definitely love just the creative play on that, selling all the frames.
Yeah, right?
That's awesome. I love that idea.
Yeah. It would just
think
be interesting, like, which frame you got. You'd have to do it in random.
Well, what if somebody bought all the frames? Then they own the whole movie.
Yeah.
Because they can reproduce the whole film.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Well, you wouldn't sell. You'd put a cap on how many people could buy.
Well, regardless, just ideas like that were never possible before.
Yeah.
Now they are.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because somebody's going to hear that, right?
Yeah.
Hear you mention that. And then it's going to spark an idea in their mind for something completely different.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the future of NFTs right now, we're limited by our creativity.
Yeah.
The canvas is so massive.
Yeah.
And the other side of it is that NFTs are going to be proof of what it is.
Yeah.
So when you think about, are you the father?
Oh my.
What I mean, your DNA test. It's like you can create an NFT out of that, and then it becomes admissible evidence in a way that you now don't have to dick around with paper.
Yeah.
It's just a random. I just thought of that myself.
But I don't think you can
talking
use the word dick around and paternity test in the same sentence. You know what I mean?
That's not true.
I'm just kidding.
I would argue that, sir.
Yeah.
But okay.
In the court of Maury Povich.
So in terms of future of NFTs, right?
Yeah.
Samsung introduced an NFT platform for your TV.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be able to show it on there.
Yeah.
But there's more to it than just showing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so again,
But is there? If you're talking just about like tokenized assets in the form of like JPEGs and NFT.
Because you're going to be able to browse
You
them.
have Angie Jones's Beast Mob, and those are like all like moving art, right?
Yeah, they move. Okay,
So-
but here's the thing.
So you would need a video screen in order to show that. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But again, this part goes into the future.
Mm-hmm.
So because we have a blank canvas,
Yeah.
what does this future look like? So if I'm on my Samsung NFT device, it's like a smart television, right?
Yeah.
And if my NFT unlocks hidden features, I'm going to use my Samsung Smart TV, not my fucking Apple phone, because
It doesn't unlock shit.
Yeah, it doesn't unlock shit. Won't let me. So now Samsung, I'm on my Samsung television, unlocks all this cool shit.
Yeah.
But similar to a Tesla, because the NFT is just the verification to the gateway of that exclusive content or features or capabilities, the creators of that NFT could then upgrade what that content is. So Teslas get upgraded all the time through their software.
Yeah.
That's awesome, right? You get, it's cool to know that even if you have a 4-year-old Tesla, you're still getting the latest software updates and it's improving your vehicle. The same thing would hold true with the NFTs, especially if you're looking at it through a Samsung television, right?
Yeah.
Then what that enables is you to open up incredible doors.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you just an example of that. So say you have an NFT of something like your SoFi financing from your college,
Okay.
right? So when you go to apply for a car, to be financed for a car through SoFi, you would just go through your NFT to then apply for it because it proves who you are. You have KYC. They have a little bit of your history, but now it's just going to add to your portfolio.
Yeah.
There's a number of ways to use the NFT
Yeah.
that's provided, and then the viewing device. See, at the end of the day, the viewing device is what makes it so much easier for us to digest NFTs to their truest potential.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, we're just looking at a bunch of numbers.
Yeah.
Or just a whole hash code, right? To disseminate the metadata that's attached to NFTs, whether they're an image or not, it's representative of whatever it is that you're tokenizing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What are you creating a non-fungible token for? Is it your medical records, your car, your school diploma? Will it be your social security ID instead of... It still baffles me to this day that our social security cards are on this printed paper.
That says do not laminate.
Yeah, it says do not laminate.
Well, what am I supposed to do with this, dude?
Oh my gosh.
Mine is like in shambles, and I gotta wait to get another one just to like for that number. I'm like, no.
When I went to the DMV to get my real ID, they said they needed a valid form of identification to prove who I am. So what did I pull out? Because I'm at the DMV.
Your driver's license.
Right. They said that wasn't accepted.
No, it's not.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. So they wouldn't accept their own way that their identification as my form of identification to get my real ID.
Yeah.
So what did I have to give them? I had to give them some utility bills and my birth certificate, which has no picture of me.
Yeah.
And even if it did, it came right when I came out of my mama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I would like to think I look a little different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Just hairier.
I don't know. I heard I was a hairy baby. I came out with a full poof. And my mom, I think I was born in 78. So there was a lot of hair there, right?
All right.
So, all right. So having said that, we get it. Okay.
Yeah.
My point being is this, is that NFTs can solve a lot of these problems.
Yeah.
If I was going into CarMax to buy a car, I could just be able to transfer all the data into an NFT of that car.
Yeah.
But the car would already have an NFT because CarMax is a used car lot. So it would just be seconds to transfer that NFT, which is my proof of ownership. The DMV is still necessary because, in a sense, they become the oracle of the blockchain, the governing body of the blockchain of cars that are all registered on the DMV blockchain. But they become the oracle because they're going to change the data of that NFT metadata, or update that data and update the blockchain for me. You know what I mean? Because that car's now been transferred. But if a car has an NFT, you now can have in the metadata when its brakes were changed.
Yeah.
How many miles, how many oil change, all these things that Carfax has printed out data, any accidents, it's now
to
just
that VIN.
all to that NFT. And it's all easily accessible. Everything about that is easily, and It just makes functioning as a human that much easier.
Yeah.
So again,
you wouldn't have to pay Carfax for that information.
No, it's going to make certain business models right now obsolete, but I'm of the opinion that sometimes we need to cannibalize our own business models.
Yeah.
Companies have done it for years. The ones who want to win constantly innovate, constantly are growing new ways to innovate their business model. Nothing in commerce is made to last forever, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
except plastic.
You got jokes. But I mean, these are just some examples, vain examples, because it's part of our everyday lives. We're talking about music, movies, entertainment in those ways.
Yeah.
The distribution of those things.
Yeah.
Obviously, vanity pieces that become assets like art, photos.
Yeah.
We talk about cars. We talk about homes. But where can NFTs actually play a role outside of that? And that's why I like medical. Big fan of what NFTs can do in the medical space.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to somebody who's broken a lot of bones.
Yeah.
When I would have to go to different hospitals in different cities, they would have to find out where to find x-rays of my old ones and my old reports. And it's like, you have to worry about HIPAA compliance of your EMR data, emergency medical records.
Yeah.
And it's like, why do I not have all my records in my pocket?
Yeah.
Companies like Kaiser have a portal now that documents a lot of this and you have access to it. But it can be challenging to navigate, and its connectivity issues kind of suck from time to time and based upon your internet connection. But it's my body.
Yeah, but if you put it up on the IPFS and then you...
Interplanetary file system. Yeah.
Which made JPEGs as NFTs like doable.
So to that point, all of this data should be within our own access at all times. It should just be a given. NFTs are part of that process because why? It's not a Bored Ape, but you can't copy. You can't make duplicates. It's mine.
Yeah.
That my broken leg, my knee surgeries, my whatever.
Yeah.
All of those data points are unique to me, and so it will find its valid place.
Yeah.
In what we currently do. Again, it removes intermediaries.
Yeah.
Because now you won't have to deal with as many referrals or bullshit requests, which reduces overhead and costs, which means insurance companies can't get paid as much. There's a lot of inefficiencies in our system, and when new innovation like this happens, it creates more efficiencies that rob the inefficiencies of their profit machines.
Yeah.
But
that makes sense.
I'm sure there's new ways to create profit. Why can't just people be more creative? We're moving towards a world of WALL-E anyway.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to figure out a way to create value out of the human opinion, because that's all that's going to be left.
Yeah.
Especially if we're stuck in a chair.
Well, I mean, just turn the fat into smoothies.
Possible. What was that movie that you would do that? I swear there was a movie. There's always a movie for something these days.
Isn't that what they did on
WALL-E?
WALL-E?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, no.
That was Pixar.
Yeah, no, for sure.
No, maybe if it was a Quentin Tarantino film, they would have done it.
What smoothies were they drinking then? You're talking about Soylent Green.
Ooh, yeah. Charlton Heston. Yeah.
Well, all right, man.
So, yeah, we just wanted to have a conversation about NFTs. Again, it's not to be an all-encompassing, like, how you build.
What is an NFT?
Yeah, you guys got jokes. But, yeah, everything about NFTs is going to change. It's changing constantly. Yeah. And I'm a big fan of it, and I feel like there's so much that's going to be coming out. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited for the future of this. This is awesome. I get excited waking up in the morning to talk about these things, learn about these things, because we're constantly learning. And yeah. Anything to add, Brandon?
No, I think I'm good.
All right.
Yeah, man.
So if you found value in what we're doing with this podcast and the information we talk about, please share it with others. Who doesn't like to share value? This show has been produced by Vocal Visual and Wizard Cats. We drop new episodes every other Monday. We'd like to thank the Celebrators for that intro and outro song. They're awesome. Brad McLean's killing it. I love it. Yeah. And this recording podcast studio is provided by ADU West Coast out of Seal Beach, California. They turn underutilized garage space and backyards into rental housing units. Their website is located at aduwestcoast.com. If you'd like to be notified when new episodes become available, please subscribe on whichever platform you're listening to. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, hit that little subscribe and then the notification bell so you get them every time it comes in. Yes, Brandon. And check out Crypto Vibes, our weekly recap of crypto and Web3 news.
Vibes.
We hope you have a good day. Thank you.
Bye, guys.